Let's go ahead and deal with the law here. Bottom line is, Donald Trump's whole strategy is, hey, challenge a lawsuit, go to the Supreme Court. He believes the Supreme Court is going to let him do whatever he wants. They don't want to go through the normal process. They want to fast track everything. And that's what Justice Brown Jackson was saying. Whoa, wait a minute. How in the hell is this case all of a sudden to us so quickly?
Yeah, you know, the Article 3 courts, the circuits, as well as the federal district courts are saving our democracy right now. They're doing their jobs, Republican or democratically appointed. The Supreme Court seems to keep saving him, but it absolutely makes no sense when you have lower courts who are saying you simply can't do this. And so I think you're right about the strategy. Their strategy is go through the courts as quickly as possible, avoid the courts as quickly as possible, get to the Supreme Court as soon as possible, and hope that they save them. Now, in regard to the Venezuelan gangs that they transported to El Salvador, they didn't get the relief that they really wanted.
No. I'm sorry, the alleged gang members.
Yeah, many of them are alleged because at least two we know certainly aren't gang members, but they left open. See, the Supreme Court gave the ACLU some relief, saying, well, they're entitled to due process, but it was silent as to, well, where do we go from here? What does that mean going forward? But more importantly, what about the alleged gang members that are in San Salvador right now, or San Salvador prison now, and since they didn't get their due process rights? Are you going to order the government to fly them back, give them due process rights? They were completely silent, which means those alleged prisoners or those alleged gang members stay there for now. So again, that's the place of relief. That's why elections matter. And that's why the Republicans have stacked that court for this very reason. Watch the Republican administration or watch the Trump administration to take full advantage of it. And that's another dangerous weapon of theirs in regard to whitewashing and destroying our democracy.
Mustafa, here's what's utterly insane. You take the case. 60 Minutes did a report showing that 75% of the people they put on planes that flew out of the country did not even have a criminal record. And so what critics are suggesting is that these people are offering no due process. What they are simply doing is snatching people off the streets, throwing them in detention facilities, and sending them out of the country. I saw this one video of a woman in Louisiana who was whining, crying, and complaining because her father, who's been here for 45 years, who was invited into the country from Cuba, guess what? They grabbed him, did not care. Well, guess what? Go talk to all those Cubans who voted for Donald Trump. This is exactly what black people and others were warning that it was going to happen, that they were going to racially profile and just start snatching people up. And we're seeing this. Latinos, Muslims, you name it, and they're just sending them out of the, say, we'll deal with them later. And even in the case of El Salvador, literally fighting it and trying to ignore the judge's decision while the plane was in the air by saying, international waters, sorry, you have no jurisdiction. That's how illegal these people are operating.
Yeah, you know, that they continue to not want to follow the law in any form or fashion unless it is against them, and then they want the law, they want justice to actually be front and center. You know, unfortunately, you know, our country is supposed to be founded, due process is supposed to be one of the sort of hallmark things that helps to set us apart from dictatorships across the planet. But, you know, these folks don't seem to want to follow that for some reason. And black folks, you know, as you shared, you know, we warned them that these types of things could actually happen because we went through it throughout the history of this country, where they used to just grab brothers off the street, sisters as well, and say they were just vagrants and then lock them up because they wanted free labor. So we have a history with this. And that's the reason that we were sounding the alarm. You know, you've got an administration that is a rogue administration. It is an administration that feels like that they can do whatever they want. And when you have, you know, Scott so aptly laid out, you know, some of the district courts and some of the others that have been doing the right thing. But when you know you have a Supreme Court that seems to not be as concerned about justice, not so concerned about the Constitution, not so concerned about every individual's rights, then you have a very precarious situation going on here where, whether you happen to be Latino or you happen to be Muslim or you happen to be a number of other groups that they don't seem to value their lives as much, then, we've got to continue to fight, push back, highlight these injustices that are going forward, and then make sure that we have politicians and judges moving forward when we have the opportunity to have those people in place that actually want to honor the rule of law.